Ever walked into your house and felt like no matter how much space I have, it's never enough? Well, here's an uncomfortable truth. It's not the size, it's not the square meters, it's the mindset. I've seen large homes suffocating and little apartments breathing free. The difference is not in square meters, it's usually in thinking. And today, I want to talk with you about 5 mindset traps that make your home feel small, cramped, or even frustrating, and how to break out of them. And the first mistake would be designing for the person you wish you were. And one of the most common traps is designing the house that ideal for the future version of yourself or the one you're craving to be. A dining room for dinner parties that never happen. A guest room for the guests who'd come once a year, and a home gym that stores laundry better than dumbbells. We build it for someday. But that someday lifestyle isn't comfortable, it's rather expensive. Not financially, but emotionally. Psychologists call this self-discrepancy, the gap between who you are and who you want to be. When your space constantly reflects that gap, it creates quite frustration. Instead of designing your space for the life that you wish to have, design for something that you actually have at the moment. Open your calendar. What your evenings looks like. Where do you spend the most of the time? What do you do in the particular room, in a section of your house? Your home should empower you for your daily self, for improving of yourself, and not apologizing for ideal future self. Let's talk about prioritizing their own space. Another trap is giving the space for things that you're barely using. Entryways filled with seasonal storage, closets packed with once-a-year items, and bedrooms storing bulky equipment you really rarely touch. Your most valuable areas should support who you are daily. Instead, we often sacrifice them for low-frequency storage items spacing. This is actually called the salience bias, when we overvalue something that looks impressive or clever. Basically, an elaborate storage solution feels like a win, and if it's inconvenient in storing and accessing, it won't serve you well. That's what we feel. In small homes, space hierarchy matters. Prioritize daily lifestyle, and occasional use deserves the secondary space. Let's talk about the myth number 3, and it's called the functional fixedness. That room is supposed to be. We know that every room has basically a label. It's a dining room, it's a kitchen, it's the work office, and you can go on forever with this. But actually, who decided it? Functional fixedness is basically a mental block that prevents us from seeing how to use the rooms for alternative purpose. Basically, you see a guest room and your brain struggles to imagine it in use for anything else. But we should remember that the small homes require some flexibility. A dining room can actually be a workspace, a hallway can be a reading nook, and a bedroom corner can become a studio. Every room is just basically a square footage. It's not sacred, it's more of adaptable. Myth number 4, the sunk cost fallacy. And this one is actually subtle. You bought the sofa bed because it was a smart solution. It's space efficient and practical and sensible, but months passed and you don't have guests. You don't have anyone to actually use this solution. And meanwhile, you sit every evening on the sofa that is uncomfortable. But it's smart because maybe somewhere in the future you will use it. Replacing it feels like admitting that you made something wrong. And here we get into the loop, the sunk cost fallacy. We keep something not because it works, but because we're afraid to admit that we made something wrong. We need to check our ego. Smart houses, they don't tolerate ego. The question isn't, was it the right decision before? It is it still serving me now? And think of this as a tattoo. A home can evolve. Let's get to the myth number 5, dopamine-driven inertia. Well, this one is the modern term. Think of watching a video, scrolling Pinterest, or saving your inspiration from other sources. It feels productive, isn't it? But nothing changes. You collect the ideas, but you don't progress. And dopamine that you get from just watching those videos, watching those collections, and making the Pinterest stocks isn't making any action. You feel like you're learning, but you're not adjusting anything to your layout. Designing content is like watching a cooking show. Whenever you watch something, it doesn't mean that you're cooking this. In this case, watching does not equal making, designing, creating. The only shift that happens when you really start moving something, you remove something, you reassign something. Small homes improve through action and not just inspiration alone. So let's summarize some of these traps. First, designing for your ideal self, followed up by prioritizing visually impressive solutions over daily function, following room labels instead of questioning them, holding onto outdated decisions, and finally, consuming inspiration instead of making changes. None of this makes you broken, it makes you human. We all have to go through this, but the moment you notice your patterns, you can break them. Remember, small homes don't need more space, they need a different mindset, the different adaptation of the already given space. It's all about how you think, and how you think shapes how you live. Well, that will be it. Thank you for watching this episode. I hope you find something that will change your mindset. Of course, that's your work as well. I'll see you in the next video. Take care, guys.